Alright, so before this video starts, I want to quickly say that I completely and utterly cocked up the recording process of this video. Pretty much throughout the entire thing, the game audio is going to be incredibly loud compared to my microphone, and the video may be borderline unwatchable. It has been far too long since I last uploaded a video, so guess what? I'm back, and I have something new to show you. Introducing me! I've had this webcam for a while. I have used it in some previous videos. I thought, why not turn it on? And from now on, I'm here. You're stuck with not only my voice, but also my face. Now, of course, we're back to business. We're back on the Senna career mode. The Drivers' Championship, it looks pretty solid. After 2 rounds, we have a 3-point lead. I had a bit of a stinker in Japan. Hadn't been playing the game much. I dropped a massive stinker. I believe, where did I qualify? I think I qualified 7th. Managed to climb up to 3rd, and then a last lap dive bomb to get P2. That was a result. So we lead the championship in the drivers by 3. We trail Red Bull in the constructors by 8, which is a bit cringe. But unfortunately, Lando Norris still isn't getting involved, and I'm getting sick of it. The R&D also looks solid. I mean, it could be wrong. This is just an estimation, but it says that we have the joint fastest car with Red Bull Racing. However, as you can see, Aston Martin and Ferrari are like right there, like they are there, and even Mercedes to an extent, and then there's quite a large gap back to the RB. So today we're going to Imola, one of the most inconsistent tracks for me. Some days I am Ayrton Senna, the other days I'm like Narain Karthikeyan. So I'm hoping it's an Ayrton Senna day. Let's get to quali. You know the drill. Unless this is your first time watching me, we do 2 runs in quali in a short qualifying session to set our grid position. So, and here we are in qualifying. Now, what's good about today is that I can use the exact same excuse that I used last episode, which is I have not touched this game for a week. Now, I did a practice race at Las Vegas just before I came on, and I look pretty decently fast. I'm sort of at my usual form, so I'm not expecting as big of a stinker as I did in Japan, which was a P7. As always, you know, a top 2, top 1 is realistically what we're looking for. I am fighting for a championship after all, but honestly, a top 5 would be very, very solid. So we do have some benchmark lap times. Our first lap times of the session, we've got... Oh, wow, that's very fast. Max Verstappen, 13.5. All purple sectors. Fernando Alonso creeping up in P2 with a 13.7. Hamilton a 13.8. Norris a 13.9. Oh, those are some very competitive lap times. Only 8 tenths between the top 10. What's Zhou Guanyu doing there? What's he doing there then? Like, why are you there? Anyway, so yeah, like I said, we're aiming for a top 5. Of course, there is a decent chance that every driver will improve on their 2nd and even 3rd runs. But for now, a 13.9 or a 13.8 is what I need to get my target of a top 5. So let's go for our first lap. And, yeah, try and get that lap time and not crash as well. That's also important. And here we go then, Fat Crim Plays goes for his first lap around Imola of Season 2. Let's make it an absolute stonker. Now this first chicane is arguably the hardest part of the track. I am going to take it a little bit easy on this first run, just because I'm scared. Navigated that pretty well. Another very tricky section. I find it really difficult, Sector 1, to be honest. I'm all right in the other 2 sectors. And I find myself 3 tenths up on Hulkenberg from Sector 1, which doesn't really mean anything because if you remember when I showed you the vehicle performance chart, Hazard really far behind everyone else. So 3 tenths is nothing. Now into Acqua Minerale, I think this corner's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really know. It's all Italian. I don't know Italian. Sector 2, we are now 4.5 tenths up. I'm really strong through that chicane. I don't know why. I think the air just stinks for some reason. I've still got quite a lot of overtake left as well, so that's going to be very useful. Final 2 corners. It's been an alright lap, especially given my lack of practice and lack of playtime in general. We're going to cross the line. A 13.9 we needed, and a 13.7 we get. Oh, that's hard. I love that a lot, actually. I tell you what, my first lap, I still need to get up to proper speed. That's a very, very solid lap time. I think we are in for a top quality qualifying session. Now, of course, we go back to the garage, we put some new boots on, and we go again. Is a pole position on? I don't know, to be honest. We'll have to go find out, won't we? Right, this lap is obviously going to require every last inch of pace that I've got. At this point, I can sort of just give it the beans. I've got a benchmark position of P3. I might go down a couple of positions, but that's fine. I think now we put the hammer down, as Bono would say, and we cook up something foul. First chicane, brake later, ride the curb like that's silly, ride that curb as well, try not to go in the grass. Bosh, 2 tenths in the first chicane, I am world class. Quali gets completed, that's just, that is a gorgeous first sector. That's already a 13.4 if I just, repeat my first sector times. This could be an utterly ridiculous, stupendous, spectacular, outrageous lap. I've almost messed it up. Don't worry, I didn't. Aqua Minerale, send it in like I'm silly. Lovely stuff. I should probably quiet down a little bit. It is currently 5:45 in the morning, but I don't care. I want an absolute flyer, as David Croft would say. I didn't actually see my Sector 2 time compared to the rest, but I think it's up on myself. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Final 2 corners. Went on the gravel on the entry, so it might stink a little bit. On the curb, nice exit, and... Oh! That is foul from Futimus Crimatus the third. What's the gap? What's the gap? Be like half a second. Oh my Christ, sorry, I just spew up on the floor at the disgrace, the disgust of that. My goodness, half a second. Okay, let's just ignore the excuse that I gave that I haven't played in a while, because it clearly doesn't mean anything. That is insane. Lando Norris P6, it's not bad, it's not great. I mean, actually no, that is bad. We have the fastest car on the grid. I mean, that doesn't justify me going half a second quicker. That was just a really good lap. But Norris, he's got to be ahead of the Astons at least, because they're like 4th. Even the Mercedes, they're like 5th. You know, getting out qualified by Verstappen, that's fine. One thing I have noticed, though, is a certain Mexican not being present in the top 14. Yeah, that's tough, really. That is tough. 8 tenths off his teammate. Anyway, we start P1 for the IMOLA Grand Prix, or should I say the, I forgot the rest of it, the Emilio something, El Premio Romagna something Qatar Airways Rolex Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to it. Well, I should be, because, I'm on pole. The target is nothing less than a win, and I feel like I should have the pace to do it. So, without further ado, let's get to Sunday. And here we go. Now, I'm a little bit... Oh, there's the name of it. The Formula 1 MSC Cruises Grand Premio del Made in Italia di Romagna 2024. I'm a little bit concerned about the opening lap of this Grand Prix. It's no secret that my starts are quite stinky on this game. I'm not too sure why. I mean, my F123 starts were some of the best you'll ever see in the world. Like, they weren't there. And now F124 is like, it's like there, it's like, it's all the way, it's like, it's not here, it's like down there somewhere, it's on the floor. In fact, I can't even reach it, it's so far down. So, if I could just go for an average start, I should be okay off the line. Of course, Max Verstappen is starting on the part of the track where you have to sort of turn while starting, so it should be a bit harder for him. But as long as we make it to turn 1 in P1, I don't really care what happens. That should set us up for a fairly simple win. Strategy is also very, very basic. I feel like I might just stop mentioning the strategy in these videos, because realistically, every single race is either going to be a medium to hard or a hard to medium. You'll never see a soft in use, and you'll never see like a 3-stop or a 2-stop. It will always be this. So I might just stop mentioning that. I think we're ready for race day. Let's have a cracker. And here we go. Let's have it. And I didn't even realise I have to start on the bad side. That's not a bad start. Keep it straight. Managed to avoid the oversteer spin that I keep getting. And we are set. Fernando Alonso fighting Max Verstappen for P2. That's quite exciting. That also helps me out. I can now get a good little getaway. Max Verstappen, by the way, on the soft tyres. That is a very surprising strategy call. by, who's their strategy team leader called? Hannah Schmidt, I think her name is. Very strange one. We'll see how it plays out. Of course, it means that he's probably going to be faster than me for a good first 6 or 7 laps. He's obviously going to go for a soft medium, I'd assume. I'd be surprised even more so if he'd done a soft hard. But we're managing this first lap really, really nicely. I mean, Verstappen is still within that DRS range, but I don't really care, to be honest. I might just save my ERS and then just use it and defend. It should be fairly bog standard. And actually, as I say that, we have got outside of that 1 second already. Of course, it doesn't really matter because DRS doesn't get activated until the next lap. But that's a very solid first lap. That was very, very nice. It's going to be what, a 1:17.2. And the objective now is try and stay a second ahead. Might be a bit difficult. As you can see in the bottom left of your screen, me, Verstappen, and the 2 Aston Martins have already dropped the rest of the field by about 2 seconds. I don't know what it is about the Astons this weekend, but they are cooking up something disgusting. Only for them to finish P3 and 4. But to be honest, I know they are the 3rd fastest team, to be fair. I suppose they are where they should be then. Anyway, I think Verstappen might have just nipped DRS off me, which is very, very cringe. I do have a full tank of DRS though, so I should be able to defend very, very easily. Verstappen goes 2 tenths quicker than me on that lap. I might not even need to use DRS. No, I'm fine. Okay. So this is now going to just turn into one big race of management. Of course, I need to manage my tyres. That's normal. But I also need to manage my ERS very, very carefully. If I use too much ERS on the main straight, like 5 to 10% more than I need to, then I probably won't have enough for the next lap. So I do have to be very careful with that. But for now, I think I am vibing. I think if I've got a 7/10 or more gap to Verstappen down this first straight, I should be fine with hot lap ERS. Let's see, here he comes, and yes. So if it's about 6 tenths or above, I can just use hot lap down the main straight, and I'm fine. Hot lap as well uses barely any ERS. I can recharge that back very, very easily. It's when I'm going to have to start using overtake. It's where it's going to become difficult. Just want to say, if you're enjoying the video so far, why not like it? Do you know what I mean? Why not? Also, why not subscribe? I'm looking forward to getting back on the grind. You can call this a little foot trim redemption arc. And I am absolutely cooking. Right, so we're on the 6th tour of this place now, and I tell you what, the car is not pretty. It's starting to, the tyres are degrading very, very quickly at the moment. It doesn't look too bad, but you know when you get to that certain percentage of like 15, 16, and that little bit of oversteer starts kicking in? That's what I've got, so I need to drive a bit more carefully now, which of course just invites Verstappen to catch up to me a lot, so that's not ideal. I think this is the point where I'm going to have to start using overtake down the main straight, just so he can't get by me. As you can see, the gap behind is just over half a second, which means I'm going to have to use quite a lot of overtake. I can probably go to about there, and I should be okay. Yeah, okay, so I've managed to survive on that lap, but this is what I mean, I've got to be very careful, because every lap I'm going to be using more and more ERS, and it seems to be a yellow flag. It's one of the Aston Martins. Fernando Alonso, his engine, let's go. And he is out of the shut. That was really cringe. Fernando Alonso's engine's blown up. He's out of the race. That's a shame, really. He was actually on fire. The pace was electrifying. You could see how much he dropped Stroll as well. He was with us, like me and Verstappen and Alonso, but he's fallen back massively, and it was just us 3 left. And we're also just, I don't know why, but me and Verstappen, I think it was the same thing in the opening round at Australia as well. Me and the Red Bulls, I say me and the Red Bulls, not McLaren and the Red Bulls, because you can see Lando Norris, he's miles back. He's already 6 seconds behind me. And I don't know why it's just me and the Red Bulls always at the top, and not just at the top, but multiple seconds ahead of everyone. Like you saw in the vehicle performance thing, the Mercedes and the Aston Martin and the Ferrari are all quite close. Anyway, I stop talking about that, because Verstappen's probably going to go for a move this lap. I do have a lot of overtake left, so I can defend, but look how much it's going down. It was, what was it, at 68 on the previous lap, now it's 55. I just need to try and live until lap 10, so obviously 2 more, and then I get a little bit of a breather, when I stop. I tell you what though, I am very surprised by Verstappen's pace on the soft tyre, given the fact that it's already been six laps, and 8 laps on those tyres, and he is still faster than me, and every lap is getting more faster than me. It's very concerning. That Red Bull clearly has some very extreme methods to tyre saving it. It'd be ideal if they had that in real life, because that seems to be the thing they're struggling with, is tyre degradation. Managed to have a really nice exit on the final chicane. The gap is going to be half a second. I'm going to use a little bit of overtake now, get up to about 315, and when he gets close, he needs a little bit more. Well, actually, I should be fine. Oh, I'm calm. Okay. Maybe this is a lot more bearable than I thought. It's just, when you've got the Max Verstappen up your arse the entire time, it doesn't matter how quick you are, you're scared. And here we go, this is the final DRS straight I have to survive before I can find out maybe like half a lap breather and go into the pits. I've failed that objective, but honestly, those objectives are completely irrelevant and I don't really care about them at all. And I've also managed to defend from Verstappen really, really easily. So that is a big, big positive. And actually, I'm going to turn my hot lap ERS mode on for this entire lap, as I should recharge most of it back in the pits. And then I can also use hot lap with my out lap, give myself a bit of a gap. Hopefully the undercut works on Verstappen. I'm surprised he hasn't pitted on like the lap before. Those soft tyres, how are they still alive is what I'm wondering. And here we go for the first time with me on the screen. Into the pits we must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Off the back button. Okay, so Verstappen also stopped, so that's good and bad. Good because it means that, you know, there ain't a chance of an overcut or an undercut from Verstappen. Bad news, I have to now deal with him for the rest of this race in exactly the same way that I've already been dealing with him, which may be doable. Like I said, I'm going to turn the hot lap PRS on for my out lap and hopefully get a bit of a gap to Verstappen, but he's already behind me. Holy moly, he is rapid on this out lap. That's not good at all. Although I do think the AI's tyre temperatures are like optimal and mine aren't. That's just a generic bug of the game. Also, one thing I just noticed is that obviously, well, because I was correct earlier, he's actually on the medium tyre and I'm on the hard. So, once again, he's got a tyre advantage. For those pondering a question, is this good or bad? It's the opposite of good. This is a horrible situation to be in. I mean, I did it when he was on the softs and I was on the mediums, but I don't know if I can do it when he's on the mediums and I'm on the hards. It's a lot more different. As you can see, before we even... Okay, no, maybe not, but still. He is right behind me. I'm going to use all the overtake I've got. And even with max overtake... Okay, so he can't get by if I use overtake down the entire straight. However, I can't do that every single lap because I will simply run out of the RS. As you can see as well, we still have both of the Alpines out in front, currently in a 1-2 position. This grid order that you see right now, except me of course, is Ayrton Senna. This is what the grid would look like if Oscar Piastri didn't make that one tweet where he said, I understand about my agreement, Alpine is announced as their driver. If he didn't tweet that and he joined Alpine, this is what would be happening. Imagine like being in Piastri's shoes in that situation where you'd have, you know, contact with McLaren, positive contract talks, and then McLaren come back to you one day when you've already, like, you know, it's basically set in stone you're going to McLaren. They come to you one day and email you or give you a phone call and go, right, unfortunately we're not going to sign you anymore because we've decided to sign Ayrton Senna. You'd be like, well, hang on, what? And he's forced to go back to Alpine. I've only got 50% ERS left. It is so over for me. But I don't think you will understand. It is so over for me. I mean, I might be able to survive 2 more laps tops, and then I've got no ERS left, and I'm finished. I'm more finished than Sean Dyche. Like, it's over for me. All I can do now is try and avoid his slipstream, and just be very sparing with the ERS. Okay, that lap I only managed to use 8% overtake. That's not that bad. I mean, that's still too much, but yeah. That chicane that I just went over is by far the most important corner, probably in the entire track calendar. Because what that corner does is where I'm so committed to it, and compared to the AI, I'm much faster. As you can see, I've managed to get that gap up to Verstappen to 7 tenths, which means I can just use hot lap ERS and survive, which means not only do I save ERS, I actually gain more. I gain about 10% more for the next lap. So that chicane, I forgot what it's called, is absolutely ginormous and probably the only reason that I am still ahead in this race. But I'm not sure if I've just found a miraculous bit of pace and Verstappen's tyres are starting to go off, but look at that gap! Just over a second now, which means I can barely use any ERS, and look at that! My battery is working really, really well. It's gone from 30% up to 80% in 2 laps while using it. That's very, very good. God, look at that now! 1 point, I'm getting a second on him! Where's that pace coming from? I have no idea. I mean, my lap times are about identical to my fastest lap, so clearly the pace is just very strong and I found something, but still, I'm doing what Lando Norris in real life couldn't in Imola, which is not only keep his cool and not bottle under pressure, and actually catch up to Verstappen and then pull away. This is what Lando Norris should have done. Okay, Verstappen's he's forward to paces. Another 1.2 seconds gain. That is insane. And I ain't slowing down either. I ain't going to start laying off a little bit. I'm still giving it everything until the end. I just hope that won't come to bite me on the arse later on as I drain my tyres health and Verstappen's preserving, although I don't think the AI are that smart, to be honest. I think they just drive the car. 3 laps remaining, and I've truly put on the burners. I'm just gone. Fastest sector 3, still lapping in the low 1-minute 15s. Whereas Verstappen's got to be in the high 15s, low 16s, and I still don't know what's quite happened. I think it is a mixture of me just finding extraordinary pace and Verstappen losing a little bit of pace, and look at the results. Also slightly unrelated is that Lando Norris up to P3 in this race. Of course, he started P5, or was it P5 or P7? I don't remember, but obviously Fernando Alonso, his engine blew up, so that gave him a free place, and he's managed to race ahead of Stroll. So far a good performance by Lando, but he's only 3 tenths ahead, so keep an eye on that, whilst I still try and, keep a similar pace and extend that gap to Verstappen. And here we go then, the final lap of this race. Now, I will say that the tyres have started degrading quite a lot, and of course with that comes a massive loss in lap time. It ain't too bad, it's only about 3 tenths a lap, but, it's definitely noticeable, especially on the corner exits. The same thing sort of happening on the mediums where, it gets to about 16% and you start getting that oversteer. Now, I am kind of going for the fastest lap, although I don't think I can get it. All I will say is to keep an eye on Lando Norris and Stroll, and as I say that, Norris loses the position to Stroll. And Stroll actually hangs on to it as well, so I believe on the final lap of this race, Lando Norris has just bottled a podium, because realistically, there's nowhere else to overtake on this track. Not just for a player, but especially for an AI, there is nowhere left. But for me, what a comeback! It's been just over a week since I last uploaded, and also, that was also an episode of this, so it's been over a week since I was last on this game, on this career mode, and what a way to come back, really. I thought I'd drop a stinker, just like I did in Japan after a week of not playing, but I've done the opposite. It was a close fight with Verstappen up until about lap 17, and from there, I have just legged it. I take probably the fastest lap of the race on the final lap of the race, and Futimus Crimitus Fatimus the third, he's done it! What a drive, my goodness. That was class. That was actually world class. Oh my, and I had to deal with leg cramps that entire time as well. Whew, come on. If that doesn't deserve a subscription from you lot, I don't know what does. That is a stupendous performance. My God. I'll be telling me grandkids about that one. Bleeding hell, lad. And there's Senna lifting the trophy. I believe it's the same trophy for every single track. They couldn't even be asked modelling trophies for all different tracks, but it's whatever. And I also want to point out, some of you may know that I have a high tendency and I am prone to crashing a lot. I've said in videos in the past that most videos that I do, I crash maybe once or twice a lap, at best once every 2 or 3 laps, and I use more than 10 flashbacks per episode. Today, my flashback count was 1. And I am very impressed with that, not only because I only used 1 flashback and didn't crash as often, but also that I didn't crash with the immense pace that I was showing at the end of the race. So there's your final finishing order. P1 to P1 for Ayrton Senna, and of course I did take that fastest lap on the final lap as well. Verstappen P2 to P2, so the top 2 exactly the same. 10-second lead at the end. Now keep in mind, up until about lap 15, he was like way faster than me, and I was only ahead because of ERS. And that's how it ends. Quite remarkable. Lance Stroll on the podium. Probably a very unexpected result. I mean, when was his last podium in F1? Wasn't it like Portugal 2020 or something? I don't even remember. But he goes from P5 to P3. Of course, his teammate's engine blew up, so that obviously aided him. But he did have to overtake my teammate Lando Norris on the final lap. He finishes P4. It's still a gain of 2 positions. Of course, you take away Alonso for his engine blowing up. It's a 1 position gain. I feel like he could have got the podium, but P4 ain't terrible. We do take 38 points on the day, especially when Red Bull drop a bit of a stinker. And by Red Bull, I mean Sergio Perez. Red Bull only pick up 20 points, which means we get a 18-point advantage after that round. Now, the Drivers and Constructors Championship. The Drivers looks like this. We now lead by 11 points. If you remember before, I believe, what was it, 4 points or 3 points before today? Now it's 11. Lando Norris picks up, well, he got 4, so he gets 12 points, puts him up to 25, and look how close those 5 positions are. There is 3 points separating P8 and P4 in the Drivers' Championship. If Lando Norris finishes P8 and these 3 fail to score points, he goes above them. That's how close it is. So I still have faith, I still have belief that no one cares. Go away. I'm trying to do an outro, Apex. Like, go away. Thank you. I still believe and I still have faith that Lando can go and finish probably P3. We definitely have the car for the job anyway. And then looking at the Constructors, we should lead, and we do lead by 10 points. I thought it'd be a bit more than that, but we did have quite a big gap before going into this weekend. But that is the epitome of world class. And one more thing I want to look at just before I close out this episode is the lap time. So you can see at the end, you can see how consistent my laps were from about here onwards. As you can see, a 15.3, 15.2, 15.0, then 15.1, 15.1, 15.1, 15.1. Then I had some tire dig issues, 15.5, 15.5, and a 14.9 to end out the session. But what I want to look at is, so I'm doing low 15s. Verstappen was doing mid 16s. Holy moly, look at that degradation from there to there. Half a second, 3 more tenths, and then keeps hovering in like the high mid 16s. So I was on average 1.5 seconds faster a lap at the end there. That is mental. Anyway, that's going to be all from me. This is my first episode of this series with the webcam on. You can leave a like or a dislike if you wanted me to keep it or not, or you can leave a comment and I just won't take any notice of it because this is here to stay. I feel like it adds a bit more immersion to the content creator. And yeah, that's all from me. I hope to make more videos soon, and I'm definitely gonna try and do more of this because this series bangs and it's also the only enjoyable part about this game. And also, I've got a new type of thing that I said I was gonna try on my community post where basically I'm just trying to do some original ideas that no one's thought of on this game, which is of course, as you could expect, quite difficult, but I am working on it. So you can expect some absolute belters of videos soon. That's all for me though. Follow my Kick and my Twitch where I do some daily streams just mucking about on some random games, and also follow my TikTok where I upload some F124 clips. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.